What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have my little sidekick helper here, Alice, because it's not quite time for her nap time. Today we are going to be filming the anticipated books that I have for Q1, which is January, February, and March. So I do think some of the books I'm talking about come out tomorrow maybe. I'm filming this on January 8th. I think you guys might be seeing this on January the 9th, so they come out today. Yesterday I did a bunch of the research looking into what was gonna be coming out this year, or at least in the first couple months. And because I really wanna get back into the love of reading, these books are ones that I'm absolutely excited to read and try out. I didn't just throw anything on this list. So if the books are on this list, I actually have strict plans in order to be able to read these this year. So first off, we're gonna start here in January. This one releases January 9th, and it is Deep Freeze. I actually do have this on NetGalley, and I am reading it this month. I haven't quite started it yet, but I might be starting it very soon this week, so that way I can get my review out. This one really captivated me because of the survival aspect. I like anything where it's you're plunged into a water, or you're trying to survive or something. And so that just seemed right up my alley. But then it does seem like it has some type of I don't know, magical realism, or maybe just messing with our minds in general, which I do really like, because it says that guy plunged to his death, but then it says that the doctors saved him, or they're telling him different things about what happened. So I'm guessing that he lived, but he doesn't know what happened. So I'm hoping there's some type of either sci-fi or magical realism element to it. So this next book comes out January 16th. It's Only If You're Lucky. This is actually gonna be the first Stacey Willingham book that I am reading. I'm guessing if I like this one, I'll go back and read some of her others. This book is supposed to be a murder story, but it's about these three college girls that room together. One of them end up going missing, and then there is a fraternity boy that's murdered. I do have this one also on NetGalley, so I will be reading this either this month or maybe a little bit late next month. But I do believe that this was a book of the month pick for this month. So I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be reading it, and I can't wait to hear the feedback coming in, especially since I know a lot of people liked her other books. All right, now we're moving into February, which is the month that I have the most books that I'm anticipating coming out. So first off, I want to talk about The Women by Kristen Hanna. This is a historical fiction book. I'm actually reading it right now, and I am over halfway. The publisher sent me a physical ARC. I'm buddy reading it with a friend right now, so that way it's really helped me stay accountable and really try to see if historical fiction is something that I could be reading in the future. This book is actually better than I thought it was going to be. I am really enjoying it. It is about the Vietnam War, and about how Frankie is a nurse that went over there, and how everyone just doesn't think that women should help out in the war. They think that it's, only men that are supposed to do heroic things, and that women can't do heroic things. So I really do like seeing the mindset from back then compared to now, and all the things that women can do now. But I will say that I am shockingly surprised that this book isn't just about war, because I was worried about reading a book, number one, about a nurse, because I don't like medical things, but also about war in general, especially if I'm trying out historical fiction. That just sounds so boring. But there's so much more emotion going into it, and I am so curious to see what the rest of the book is going to entail, because right now I am really enjoying the storyline, just how emotional it's making me while I'm reading it. The other book that is publishing on February 6th is The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I have read a handful of Frida McFadden books. I absolutely loved The Housemaid. I devoured that book. And then I've read a couple others. They've been hit or miss, but I just really love Frida's writing style, that it is so fast. It is so easy to just devour her book, and I'm just wanting more and more and more, and turning the page. I just love that so much. It's the endings that kind of get me, where it does make me disappointed at times, but I'm still going to read more of her books. The Teacher is about Eve, who teaches at a school. I think she teaches math, and she's gonna have this great year. She has this perfect family. I guess the previous year there was a scandal at the school, and the student that did this scandal is now going to be in Eve's class for this year. So I am so curious to see like what this all entails, and it just sounds really good and juicy. All right, our next book says it's coming out on the 9th. For some reason I thought books always got published on Tuesdays, but I don't know. I think this is what it said on NetGalley. So this is The Stolen Girls. I have never heard of this author before. I think it's just like an indie author, but it was the cover, the title, and the description that just really sounded good. This is about two single dads, like two separate stories. So two single dads, and each of them have a daughter that has gone missing. I love books about kidnapping, missing children. Hopefully that would never happen, obviously, but I love reading about it, probably because that is a big fear of mine. There are a couple reviews of this on Goodreads already, and they were raving about this book, so I am very excited to pick this up and try out this author. All right, this next one actually says it's releasing on February 1st. I have these out of order, but this is also, I think, another indie author. I've never heard of this author, and this is called The Phantom Child. Again, I saw this on NetGalley, and the title, the description, I mean, it just pulls me in. And again, you know, this is about kids. So this is about a family. They go to Turkey with their son. I think he's like 4 years old, and he goes missing. And so like the next morning, the mom realizes that the son is missing, and she's like, oh my gosh, like what happened to our kid? Like, where's our kid? And the husband's like, what are you talking about? Like, we don't have a kid. Like, this kid doesn't even exist. What are you even saying right now? I love things like that. I love the whole like kidnapping aspect possibly, but then also the like, are you going crazy? Are you imagining that we have a kid? Do you have like memory loss? Like all of that type of stuff I absolutely love. So I cannot wait to read this book. It sounds right up my alley. All right, this next book comes out February 20th, and this is a romance. This is Till There Was You. I do have this on NetGalley, and I'm super excited to read this because of the fact I love romances that deal with like food or cooking, because it just makes it better for the cheesiness for me. I feel like then I'm interested in like the food part. So this is about Lexi, and she is an executive chef. She's trying to be an executive chef in a Michelin star restaurant. So that already sounds great, and I think it's in New York City. Of course, she has this no dating rule. I feel like every single romance on earth is like this. Meets this musician who writes a song about her like famous blueberry pancakes, and the song actually takes off, so this musician gets like really famous. She wants anyone to find out like that the song is about her, so she's keeping like the romance under wraps. So we'll see what happens. Okay, baby went down for bed, so now I can like fully focus on this. So the last book for February comes out on the 20th. This is The Guest by B.A. Paris. I have read, I think, 3 of B.A. Paris's first books. I absolutely loved her first book, Behind Closed Doors, and then every single one I read after that, or maybe I read 4. Every single one after that kind of was just getting like lower on the totem pole. So her last couple books that she's released, I actually have not read, as I was just afraid of really not liking them, but I think I'm going to try this one since it's a domestic thriller, and who knows, maybe she's gonna be coming back and I'm going to love her books again. So this one is about like a married couple, and I believe that the husband stumbles upon this person that had a tragic accident and then died, so he's like dealing with the guilt of that. But then there's like this other person that like moves in with them and starts like wearing the wife's clothes. I love any type of book that's like similar to The Last Mrs. Parrish. So there's like a whole bunch of other stuff going on in the synopsis, but this sounds really good and I cannot wait to pick it up. All right, now moving on to March. This book comes out on March 5th. And this is called Bye Baby. I love any type of thrillers that deal with like babies, kidnapping, things that happen to children. Like, I don't know why, I'm sorry if I'm totally messed up, but this one is about this baby that goes missing or is kidnapped. And I guess from the person that we are hearing about, like she looks down into her arms and she's holding the baby that's like missing and kidnapped. So I don't know exactly how that happens, but I think it's about this like friendship gone wrong, and I don't know, just sounds really, really good. So I'm super excited for it. All right, another book releasing on March the 5th is This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. This is book 2 in a series. I am not sure if you are able to read these out of order. I feel like you probably could, just because this is like the romance story of one of the other characters in the first book. It's not like a continuation of the first book from what I've gathered from the synopsis. I really did like the first book. I actually did a whole like bookish cooking video because it had like recipes in it, and I just thought the romance was really great. So if you're interested, I can link that up above for you to watch. But I do have this on NetGalley, and I actually have plans to read it this month. So I am very excited to see if it's something that I will be able to rave about. But I just thought that Kennedy Ryan's writing in the first book was just amazing. So I'm super excited to read this second one. And another book releasing on March 5th is Expiration Dates by Rebecca Stirl. I was a big fan of her first book, In 5 Years, and I was very excited to be able to read this. I actually have a copy from NetGalley, and I do have plans to read it this month. This one does seem like it's like kind of magical realism because it's about this girl who is dating these people, and every single time she goes like on a date with a new person, she gets given like this piece of paper that has the expiration date of like when they're gonna break up. So like she'll start going on this date with this person and it'll be like, okay, you're gonna break up in like 6 months, or you're gonna like be together for like 2 years or whatever. And she's like waiting for the moment that she meets this person, that when she gets that note, it's not going to have an expiration date on it, which means that like that's her true love. She'll be with him forever. So I am super excited about this because that synopsis just sounds very intriguing to me, especially I'm not a huge fan of romances, but this definitely sounds like a romance that I would enjoy. All right, coming out on March 12th is It Must Be True Then. This is a romance that I do have on NetGalley, and I think the reason that I was very intrigued by this is because I think it's a nanny and a single father, which does sound pretty interesting to me. I'm always looking for romances that aren't just the normal like, this person is gonna meet this person, but they hate each other at first and then they fall in love later. I'm not like a huge fan of the hate to love romances. So I'm always looking for something that's gonna be different. And I think, you know, nanny and single father, that seems interesting. All right, coming out on the 19th is Good Half Gone by Taryn Fisher. Now, I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with Taryn Fisher. I have really hated some of her books, and then I've really loved some of her thrillers. This is comparable to Shutter Island from what I have read and heard about, which I love. The movie Shutter Island is one of my favorites, and so I'm looking forward to this mostly because of that. This book also has kidnapping. It's about a twin sister that watched her twin sister get kidnapped. I love kidnapping tropes. It also has some trafficking. It has like the insane asylum on an island. Like, I mean, everything about it just sounds so good. All right, that is it. That is all of the most anticipated books for January, February, and March. I will be making another video for Q2, which will be April, May, and June. So that you will probably see in the next like month or two, because I'm really trying to keep up with everything this year with like BookTube and reading and all that. So I'm very excited. Let me know if there are any books that I missed on this list that you are very excited about. I would love to hear, so that way I can add more to my TBR. And I will see you all in another video soon. Bye everyone.